for a limited time, $1 gets you full access to all the automotive industry news and content CBTNews.com has to offer. CBT News. Subscribe today. Welcome to CBT News with Bridget Fitzpatrick.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to CBT News. I'm Bridget Fitzpatrick. Thank you so much for joining us. Here's Zach Seago with today's top stories.
Thanks, Bridget. Up first, new data from Edmunds sheds more light on the growing affordability crisis in the automotive industry. Since 2018, the average transaction price for new vehicles has increased from $35,794 to $47,713, while the number of cars sold for $20,000 decreased from 8% to 0.3%. Most of the price hikes come from SUVs and trucks. As a result, Edmunds expects consumers will return to the used car market as, quote, new vehicles have simply grown out of reach for many Americans, end quote. Next, shortly after the Treasury Department revealed long-awaited updates to the Inflation Reduction Act's EV tax credit rules, Ford has announced that a majority of its products will no longer qualify for the full amount. The changes tighten restrictions on which vehicles can earn the $7,500 incentive based on where their batteries are sourced or assembled. Out of the automaker's 6 electric and hybrid models, only 2, the F-150 Lightning and the Lincoln Aviator Grand Touring, will qualify for the full credit amount when the rules go into effect later this April. On Wednesday, Ram unveiled its first electric pickup, the 1500 Rev, at the New York Auto Show. According to the presentation, the long-range version of the truck will have a driving range of 500 miles and up to 14,000 pounds of towing power. When connected to a 350 kilowatt DC fast charger for 10 minutes, the vehicle can receive enough electricity for 110 miles. Ram is the last of the big 3 Detroit automakers to release an electric truck. And wrapping up our coverage, General Motors says that 5,000 of its employees have opted to take a buyout offered earlier this year as part of the automaker's plan to save $2 billion by 2024. Company CFO Paul Jacobson expects to spend up to $1 billion on the payouts. Earlier in the year, GM said it would be looking to reduce its labor costs without resorting to layoffs. Most of the staff members taking the buyout will have ended their employment by June. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next is Sean Gardner, instructor and sales trainer for the Joe Verde Group. We'll be right back.
Delivering the news dealers count on for 10 years. Subscribe today and join thousands of other automotive professionals. CBT News, 10 years strong.
As customers adjust to the different automotive retailing landscape, it's more important than ever for sales professionals and managers to continue honing and developing their skills. On this episode of Inside Automotive, we're joined by Sean Gardner, instructor and sales trainer for the Joe Verde Group. Check it out.
The topic today is one that is very timely. As vehicles start to load back up the lots, it's not like shooting fish in a barrel any longer. So people, you might want to pay attention to today because we're going to talk about 2 ways to handle price in negotiations. Yes, I said price. Imagine that. No longer can you point to a vehicle's sticker price and say, that's what you're paying. And if you don't want to pay it, we got 14 other people that'll pay it. So hit the bricks. People now, guess what? We got to start dealing with price and we got to negotiate on price. So I'm going to leave it to you, Sean. How do you handle this? 2 ways to handle price in negotiations.
Well, first of all, Jim, think about this. Pre-pandemic, what was the price maybe on a RAV or a Pilot or just any car? And then what is the price on that same vehicle now? Prices have gone up.
That's right.
Quite a bit.
That's right.
I mean, haven't they?
Yep.
So price is probably one of the biggest objections that a salesperson gets in the negotiations.
Oh, for sure. Right up front.
So Yeah, and a lot of us get tripped up on it. I know when I was negotiating, I mean, the customer says, "Can you do any better on the price?" And I'd be like, "Well, wait here. Let me go talk to my manager."
That's right.
So I didn't know how to build value in the number.
Right.
And that's what we're going to talk about today is 2 ways to build the value in the price of the car so that you really can move on in the negotiations. Think about this, Jim. It's more than just price. Everybody's worksheet's a little different. Everybody works their deals a little differently,
Sure.
and I get that. But chances are there's a trade value on that worksheet somewhere, maybe a down payment, monthly payment on that worksheet somewhere, or maybe down payment, monthly payment options on that worksheet. A lot of GMs give their customers options on how they want to pay for the car. So we need to learn how to build value and price so we can move on in the negotiations. And I want to give you, it's 2 ways, but really 3 ways, but one's really, really quick. Okay.
Okay.
Now, first of all, if you're going to do a good job at price in the negotiations, it all starts by being flawless in the selling process, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I mean, the selling process, that's where the true magic happens. I mean, that's where the customer loves us. That's where the customer starts feeling comfortable in our store. That's where you get the customer excited and thinking now by giving that customer a great presentation demonstration. We can't talk about that too much. I mean, 80% of the entire selling is done in the presentation demonstration. That's where the customer is making the decision to buy the car.
That's right.
Okay. That's where they're getting excited. That's where husband and wife are looking at each other thinking, oh, yeah, this is the one we want. Do you like this car? I like this car. This is the one I want. Okay.
All right, be sure to watch this interview in its entirety right here at CBTnews.com. That wraps up our show for today, but we invite you to join us back here again tomorrow morning for all the latest news and trends impacting the retail automotive industry. And of course, be sure to follow us on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Bridget Fitzpatrick. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
CBT News, your #1 resource for auto industry news and content. Join the #1 most watched newscast in the automotive industry. CBT News. Subscribe today.